How baseball players got their jersey numbers. Think of a favorite athlete whose jersey number surely comes to mind. Whether it's Derek Jeter's number 2 or Babe Ruth's 3, each has a special story. Most of these stories are surprisingly fascinating, and all of them will make you appreciate the game even more. Now, before diving any deeper into today's video, welcome back to Sportflix. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to score a home run. Turns out that behind the most revered baseball numbers are some truly remarkable tales. Everything from superstitions and traditions to the oddest coincidences, the stories behind the numbers are all part of baseball lore. Without further ado, let's take a look at some of the most famous and peculiar stories behind all those memorable numbers. The story behind Adam Ottavino and why his jersey number is 0. Adam Ottavino has always been a Mets fan, and his favorite player growing up was Mike Piazza, who is known for wearing jersey number 31. Ottavino wanted to honor the memory of Piazza, so he asked the Rockies if he could wear the number 0 as a subtle reference to Piazza. Though it is not easy for a pitcher to get a number like 0 or 8 due to superstitions, the Rockies agreed, and that's how Ottavino got his special jersey number 0. Even though it took time for him to make it official, he has stuck with this unique jersey number ever since. It symbolizes his admiration for one of his idols, while also serving as a reminder of where his career journey began. Also, here's another fun fact. He claims that he only wears that jersey number because 0 looks like an O, which is the initial of his last name. Pretty cool, huh? The story behind Xander Bogues and why his jersey number is 2. Xander Bogues has held the number 2 for the Boston Red Sox since he was drafted in 2013. But what's the story behind this? It turns out that, at first, Bogues wanted to emulate his favorite player, Derek Jeter. Jeter wore the number 2 when he played for the Yankees and was one of the few retired players in Major League Baseball, or MLB, to have their number completely taken out of circulation. When asked why he chose 2, Bogues said, "It was already taken, so I looked around and saw what other numbers were available. I liked 2 because my dad always told me I wasn't born second, but could become second if I worked hard at it, so it kinda stuck with me, and that's why I chose it." He may not have been born a number 2, but now he certainly looks like one with his performance on the field. The story behind Sandy Leon and why his jersey number is 3. The story behind Sandy Leon and his number 3 jersey is a classic of its kind, a surreal intersection of fate, luck, and superstition. It began in 2017 when Sandy was the starting catcher for the Red Sox. At the same time, a fan of the team noticed an interesting pattern among the team's newly assigned uniform numbers. 3 double-digit numbers, 13, 23, and 33, were unclaimed and sitting on the roster. Thinking this was more than mere coincidence, he took to Twitter to suggest one of them be given to Leon. To everyone's surprise, Leon agreed and gamely accepted the number 3 on Twitter. Little did he know that things would line up so serendipitously in 2019 when his batting average skyrocketed to .311, which is essentially a 3 with 2 decimal points. Pretty close if you ask us. Since then, he has chosen to keep the number 3 as a reminder of his incredible journey, as it requires no explanation, just like Sandy himself. But that's not true, because it is also the month he was born in, and his parents share the number 3 on their birthdays as well. Yeah, it looks like his connection to number 3 is pretty strong. The story behind George Springer and why his jersey number is 4. George Springer is a force to be reckoned with on the baseball field, and it's no surprise he wears the number 4 jersey. According to Springer, when he was young, these were the steps a player had to take to become successful. These 4 steps were then transformed into a number. Thus, Springer's jersey number 4 was born. He knew from a young age that this would be his lucky number, and it has remained with him over the years on different teams, including his current team, the Houston Astros. Further cementing this number in his career is that he made it all the way to the World Series wearing his beloved 4. Or we can just gulp down the fact that he's a huge Torrey Hunter fan, which is why he's so fond of this number. Alright, so let's take a time out from all the talking and listening and play a little game. Catch that ball and throw it to the subscribe button to win this game. Also, don't forget to like the video while you're at it. The story behind Albert Almora Jr. and why his jersey number is 5. When the Chicago Cubs drafted Albert Almora Jr. in 2012, the baseball world was well aware of the impressive background that was coming with him. After all, his father was a first-round pick for the Brewers in 1985. But not many people knew yet that Albert Jr. would become one of the most symbolic athletes in Chicago Cubs history, not only because of his name, but because of his jersey number 5. As it turns out, when Albert Jr. received his first contract offer from the Cubs after being drafted, it included jersey numbers 5 and 8, and our guy here just didn't want to put on a double digit or a higher digit, so he went with the lowest one that he could get. Coming up on our list, we have Anthony Rendon and the story behind why his jersey number is 6. Anthony Rendon has been sporting the number 6 since he began his career in the MLB, but you'll be surprised that he isn't a big fan of that number. Instead, he wanted 24 or maybe 23. He even got a chance to take the number 24, but for some reason, he just didn't. It looks like Rendon has finally grown fond of the number 6, and obviously, he was born in June, so it does make a tiny bit of sense for him to have that number. The story behind Dusty Baker and why his jersey number is 12. Dusty Baker's story is inspiring and certainly one of the more unusual ones in the history of baseball. He wears the number 12 because he is a fan of someone even more amazing than he is. When Dusty was a kid growing up in California, he just couldn't stop himself from becoming a fan of Tommy Davis. And obviously, he had to get it for himself when he joined the big leagues. Since then, Dusty has gone on to wear the same number at every team he's played for, from the Braves to the Astros and now the Dodgers. He even coaches with that same number. Dusty's story is just one reminder of how special jersey numbers can be. It's a reminder to us all that with hard work and dedication, anything can be achieved, and that those numbers are more than just letters and numbers. They mean something special to each person who wears them. The story behind Kris Bryant and why his jersey number is 17. Kris Bryant, the shortstop for the Chicago Cubs, wears jersey number 17, but what is the story behind it? Bryant grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, playing baseball and dreaming of one day making it to the big leagues. As he says, "I just wanted to be a big leaguer. It was that simple." At an early age, Bryant wore the number 25. When he joined his high school team after moving to Las Vegas, he kept this number. However, when he arrived in college, some of his teammates were already wearing them, so he had to switch it up to 23. He couldn't get the number 23 because it is a retired number from the Hall of Fame, which is the only reason he chose the number 17. That is a real tragedy right there. What a sad story. And on that note, this video has come to an end. Thank you for watching, and we hope you keep coming back to us for more such fun and exciting content.